Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning. Hello, all you beautiful ladies. Look at it. What a beautiful group. I love coming here in the mornings and spending my time with you, even though I can't see your faces. I wish I could. That would be cool. It'd be cool to do this on Zoom, but I love joining together in the morning with you guys. All right, January 30th. The Lord challenges Job. Job 38, 1 through 41. Then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind. Who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorant words? Brace yourself like a man, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. I'm done at that point. I mean, God's talking out of a whirlwind and telling me, what's up? Who do you think you're talking to? I'm out. I'm out at that point. I've messed up. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you know so much. Who determined its dimensions and stretched out the surveying line? What supports its foundations, and who laid its cornerstone, as the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy? Who kept the sea inside its boundaries as it burst from the womb, as I clothed it with clouds and wrapped it in thick darkness? For I locked it behind barred gates, limiting its shores. I said, this far and no farther will you come. Here your proud waves must stop. Have you ever commanded the morning to appear and caused the dawn to rise in the east? Have you made the daylight spread to the ends of the earth, to bring an end to night's wickedness? As the light approaches, the earth takes shape like clay pressed beneath a seal. It is robed in brilliant colors. The light disturbs the wicked and stops the arm that is raised in violence. Have you explored the springs from which the seas come? Have you explored their depths? Do you know where the gates of death are located? Have you seen the gates of utter gloom? Do you realize the extent of the earth? Tell me about it if you know. Where does light come from? Where does darkness go? Can you take each to its home? Do you know how to get there? But of course you know all this, for you were born before it was all created, and you are so very experienced. Does it comfort anyone else to know that God has a little bit of sarcasm? Like, God can speak sarcastically like this? Woo. Knocked my coffee station over. I don't know why, but it tickles me the way this is worded. Have you visited the storehouses of the snow or seen the storehouses of hail? I have reserved them as weapons for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war. Where is the path to the source of light? Where is the home of the east wind? Who created a channel for the torrents of rain? Who laid out a path for the lightning? Who makes the rainfall on barren land in a desert where no one lives? Who sends rain to satisfy the parched ground and make the tender grass spring up? Does rain have a father? Who gives birth to the dew? Who is the mother of the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from heavens? For water turns to ice as hard as a rock, and the surface of the water freezes. Can you direct the movement of the stars, binding the cluster of Pleiades, or loosening the cords of Orion? Can you direct the constellations through the seasons, or guide the bear with her cubs across the heavens? Do you know the laws of the universe? Can you use them to regulate the earth? Can you shout to the clouds and make it rain? Can you make lightning appear and cause it to strike as you directed? Who gives intuition to the heart and instinct to the mind? Who is wise enough to count all the clouds? Who can tilt the water jars of heaven when the parched ground is dry and the soil has hardened into clods? Can you stalk prey for a lioness and satisfy the young lion's appetites as they live in their dens or crouch in the thicket? Who provides food for the ravens when their young cry out to God and wander about in hunger? The Lord's challenge continues. Job 39, 1 through 40, verse 2. Do you know when the wild goat gives birth? Have you watched as the deer are born in the wild? Do you know how many months they carry their young? Are you aware of the time of their delivery? They crouch down to give birth to the young and deliver their offspring. Their young grow up in the fields and then never return. Who gives the wild donkey its freedom? Who untied its ropes? I have placed it in the wilderness. Its home is the wasteland. It hates the noise of the city and has no driver to shout at it. The mountains are its pasture land, where it searches for every blade of grass. Will the wild ox consent to being tamed? Will it spend the night in your stall? Can you hitch a wild ox to a plow? Will it plow a field for you? Given its strength, can you trust it? Can you leave and trust the ox to do your work? Can you rely on it to bring home your grain and deliver it to your threshing floor? The ostrich flaps her wings grandly, but there are no match for the feathers of the stork. She lays her eggs on top of the earth, letting them be warmed in the dust. She doesn't worry that a foot might crush them or a wild animal might destroy them. She is harsh towards her young as if they were not her own. She doesn't care if they die, for God has deprived her of wisdom. He has given her no understanding. But whenever she jumps up to run, she passes the swiftest horse with its rider. Have you given the horse its strength or clothed its neck with a flowing mane? Did you give it the ability to leap like a locust? Its majestic snorting is terrifying. It paws the earth and rejoices in its strength when it charges out to battle. It laughs at fear and is unafraid. It does not run from the sword. The arrows rattle against it, and the spear and javelin flash. It paws the ground fiercely and rushes forward into battle when the ram's horn blows. It snorts at the sound of the horn. It senses the battle in the distance. It quivers at the captain's commands and the noise of the battle. Is it your wisdom that makes the hawk soar and spread its wings towards the south? Is it at your command that the eagle rises to the heights to make its nest? It lives on the cliffs, making its home on a distant rocky crag. From there it hunts its prey, keeping watch with piercing eyes. Its young gulp down blood where there's a carcass, there you'll find it. Then the Lord said to Job, "Do you still want to argue with the Almighty? You are God's critic, but do you have the answers?" I love it. I love the response. So this is this long response from the Lord. And then Job says in Job 40:3-5, then Job replied to the Lord, "I am nothing. How could I ever find the answers? I will cover my mouth with my hand. I have said too much already. I have nothing more to say." That's the shortest speech Job ever had. Right there was those two little sentences. That's it. And then the Lord's going to challenge him again. I love it. I think, Bassie, hey, no licking wounds. You're just giving me the stink eye. I think this chapter here, it's of Job 38, is such a powerful reminder to all of us. I talk about how I like to look at nature and just think, we look at trees and they're just trees, but when you stop and think about a tree, I couldn't make one of those. I could not create a tree. It's pretty fascinating, what the tree does, how the seed grows into a tree, into a small tree, and then it grows into a great tree, and the leaves give oxygen, and the bark, how it protects the inside of the soft tree. Like, it's a whole lot to wrap your brain around. A tree, it's just a tree. But when you stop and think about the creator behind that tree and the fact that KJ ain't over here making any trees. I can barely make scrambled eggs, okay? Right, Sarah? And how important that tree is to the animals and to us for oxygen, and I can't do any of that. I'm pretty little when it comes to the big picture here. And so I love this chapter. I love how it speaks that. I love this one here where it says who kept the sea inside its boundaries as it burst from the womb, and as I clothed it with clouds? Who wrapped it in thick darkness? For I locked it behind barred gates, limiting its shores. I said, this is this far and no farther will you come. He looked at the ocean and said, that's it. That's your boundary. I can't go into the ocean up to my knees without a wave knocking me over. And God is out there going, you stop there, and that's the end. I really like to think about that. I like to stop and think about the wonder behind things that are, right? And yet all of those amazing things, how much more valuable are we than the trees? Like our life, we're a big deal. We all, the creation, like we are not a big deal, but our creation, how intricate we are, is a big deal. My mind is breaking a little this morning. See, this is what happens. I start thinking about this stuff and then I'm like, I feel so dumb. I feel so small and unimportant and inadequate and just this thing compared to this creator. Like, all right. January 3rd, let's do our unshakable. My back itches. Unshakable. We're on day 30, y'all. We got one day left in this year-long month. Only one day after today. And then we will have made it through January. All right, January 30th. You are valuable. 2 Timothy 1:9. He has saved us and called us to a holy life, not because of anything we have done, but because of his own purpose and grace. God created you on purpose and for a purpose. He called you, positioned you, and equipped you. There is a realm of influence, a group of people that only you can inspire, encourage, and lead. There's a plan only you can complete. That's how valuable you are. As you keep moving forward, giving it all you have, know that God is aware of all you do, and he will reward you. I will cry to the Most High, who accomplishes all things on my behalf, for he completes my purpose in his plan. Psalm 57:2. What a reason for celebration. Whether you've been walking in your purpose for a long time or you have just begun the journey of discovery, God will help you fulfill what he's called you to do. He's the one who promotes you and rewards you. Dear God, please keep me strong in my purpose, and thank you for bringing it to pass. I don't know. It's good stuff for a Monday. Don't you jump. Come. Dog's getting a little feisty over there. It's not supposed to be jumping. You don't want to rip it in skin. No, you don't. All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and end in a word of prayer. Father in heaven, thank you so much for Mondays, a fresh start, a way to our day to look at all that's before us this week with fresh eyes and purpose and joy. Thank you, Father, for your power and your wisdom and reminding us of just how small we are in the big picture that the creation is. The awe-inspiring creation is just, it's mind-blowing, and having that reminder first thing in the morning on a Monday is a special thing. I pray that you will go before us today. May we honor you with our words and our actions and bring joy to somebody around us, bring a smile, and just be a blessing to someone today. In your precious name I pray. Amen. Okay. Right, Cindy? 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And yet everyone looks different. It's just 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And yet, I mean, yeah. Okay, now my mind's going to blow a little bit more. You think about 2 eyes. They're just 2 eyes. They're not that special. they're just eyes. I mean, they are when you stop and think about how special an eye is and the intricacies. But that's not what I'm talking about. The look of an eye. They all look that they're all eyes. But yet, one teensy little tweak in the shade of an eye, and your eyes look completely different. One tiny little change between my eye and your eye, tiny little size, tiny little more opening, tiny little further this way, further this way, further this way, closer together, further apart. Tiny tweak, and we look totally different. My mind is crushed this morning, so now I'm the rest of the day. Right, Bassy? Right, yeah. All right, I got to figure out what I'm going to have for breakfast because at this point in time, I have absolutely no idea, but I will be live in just a few minutes to cook something. I have no idea what, but I'll figure it out some point between now and then. Hopefully. All right, guys, thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and can be a blessing to someone today. Love you guys.